able to rule over them. They must be trained in such a way that they will think their own culture as useless. This Western culture is very good. That impression must be there, otherwise, you cannot rule over them. So, the education and everything was going on very silently on this principle. Amsatuta nodded. Imperceptibly, they introduced this. Hmm. That is their administration. And that was going on for the last 200 years. So India lost its culture. Educated persons, they lost. And the mass of people, they were not educated. They have not lost, but they don't find any good example by the leaders. They're simply staying somehow or other in their original culture, but there is no encouragement by the leaders. Just like Jawaharlal Nehru, he was a complete rascal about Indian culture. He did not think that Indian culture has any value. Therefore, he wrote the book Discovery of India. You know that? It is a little popular, Discovery of India. For so long, India was not discovered by opiate or something like, as the Russians say. Now it is discovered. And that its leaders have become anglicized or Europeanized industry, the Western way of thinking, eating and everything, pollution, everything. Otherwise, we have seen in our childhood how happy people were. Simple. If one has 5 rupees income per month, he's happy. I've seen it. Husband, wife, a small family. If he has got 5 rupees income, they can maintain very nicely, happily. He calculated how 3 rupees was sufficient to purchase a month's supply of vegetables. I've seen it. Fresh vegetables, rice, this and just like with banana leaf. The pots were of earthen. The wife is cooking as she's utilizing dry foliage as fuel, a little temperature, everything is cooked. The husband takes one banana leaf and spreads, and the wife gives sufficient rice, vegetables. And things were so cheap. I've seen it. And fresh, everything fresh. Any cultivator he had got little land surrounding his house, and he is growing vegetables like squash, chilies, and some spinach, eggplant, and this banana. So whatever he's grown, he takes in a basket, goes to the market, immediately sold. And they're all fresh, collected in the morning, and it is sold by 8 o'clock, all fresh vegetables. Namo Vishnu Radhaya Krishna Rastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya Srila Prabhupada here is talking about his days when he was a child and how India was. I think even if you go to the villages now, you can see a little bit remains of this you know, people happy with a little, very little. So somebody was saying, if you have not been to India yet, you have to go fast because India is getting most modernized very fast right now. You can see highways all over. So if you want to get that glimpse of what village life used to be, you go fast. And so, um, and we know from history that India was ruled by foreigners for such a long time, almost 1000 years. The Mughals ruled and then the British came. But the Britishers, they did something the Mughals could not do. The Mughals, they tried to, destroy the temples and everything, but the Britishers, what they did was, like Srila Prabhupada says here, they were very expert. Their thing was, this they did in every place the Britishers went, they did this divide and conquer. they would divide the population first, create some friction, and that's how they would conquer. So, and it was not easy for to rule the Indians, but what they they spread the propaganda that anything from the West is good, anything from spiritual heritage of India was so great that it was you could not give up that easily. But when people um, had some mentality that their own culture was lesser, then they started following. So yeah, it's not a very good history how they did it, so it's not a very encouraging history. But it's nice to know this history because, like yesterday we were saying, history repeats itself. A community that does not know its own history, they do not learn from it. So that is why history is important. So we learn from history. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada, he goes on to speak about the economics, the economic of the society. He would often say that if someone has a little piece of land and one cow, all the economic problems are solved. From the cow, you get all the milk products, and then in the land, you can grow your own food, and then all the economic problems are solved. But if we think about it now, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. Yeah, you don't put the SB, then it will come. So, but now if we think about it, it's the whole thing is so complicated. The the idea of getting your own land and growing your own. But this was possible. Somehow we are in right now in this time and age where we have to. The children, they do not know where the food comes from. They think it comes from the supermarket, but they don't know beyond that where it comes from. And if something happens to like we saw during COVID, if something, if there is no transportation, everything is gone. You don't get even food. So we can see how much we are dependent on transportation, on just this logistics. The food comes from 1,000 miles away. How impractical is that? There is no concept of growing locally because people are all greedy for for so much money. The food you get here is not even from that place. It comes from somewhere else. And if somehow there is no petrol or there is no cars, the price of the food rises. Right? So this is not a very natural situation we are living in right now. It's not a very natural thing. And we are so dependent on these the availability of transportation or even our food. And if like I remember when there was earthquake in my town, all this the whole city was, nothing could go out, nothing could come into the city, and then we had no food. So even a big city, when you don't have nice locally available vegetables, you almost can't survive. So that is the situation. So that is why one of the ways Srila Prabhupada also sort of spreading Krishna consciousness was by showing people how you can lead a practical and happy life with even a little bit. You don't need so much. And by being God conscious, by focusing your time on being God conscious, you can still be happy. So that is why he established farms and communities, just to show people, there is an alternative way to live. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's an alternative way to. And there are communities like that around the world. Devotees are living, and it's a nice example. It's a nice example for people. It's a nice example for the economists. It's a nice example for all the sociologists. We see that um, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness can solve so many aspects of our lives, from economy to so many things. So anyone would like to add anything? Comment? Questions? So we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Asta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikam Angam Langayate Brahmanandamandapam Shri reading from 6:18:9. Tatkarma Guna Viryani Kasya Pasyam Mahatmanaha Paschad Vakshyamahe Dityam Yathaiva Vattaraha Tatkarma Guna Viryani Kasya Pasya Mahatmanaha Paschad Vakshyamahe Dityam Yathaiva Vattaraha Tatkarma Guna Viryani Kasya Pasya Mahatmanaha Paschad Vakshyamahe Dityam Yathaiva Vattaraha. Tasya pasya mahatmana paschadvakshamahe vidyam yathaiva vattaraha. Tatkarma kaririyani. Okay. Word for word, tat is karma, activities, guna, qualities, viryani, and power. Kasya pasya, of the son of Kashyapa. Mahatmanaha, the great soul. Paschat, later. Vakshe, mahe, I shall describe. Adityam, in Aditi. Yatha, how. Eva, certainly. Avatatara, descended. Ha, indeed. Translation. Later, in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe how Urukram, Lord Vamandev, appeared as the son of the great sage Kashyap, and how he covered the 3 worlds with 3 steps. I shall describe the uncommon activities he performed, his qualities, his power, and how he took birth from the womb of Aditi. There's no purport for several verses, so I'll just keep reading. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chaitanya Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Swayam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. So we are in the part where Srimad Bhagavatam has some chapters where only the history of the universe is given. So the son of this was this, the son of this. So this is one of those. So I'll just try to read and maybe summarize. So we are talking about the sons of Diti. So Diti and Aditi, they are two from whom the demons and demigods came. Right? So from Diti came the demons, from Aditi came the demigods. So text 10, now let me describe the sons of Diti who were begotten by Kashyapa but who became demons. In this demoniac family, the great devotee Prahlad appeared and Bali Maharaj also appeared in that family. The demons are technically known as Daityas because they proceeded from the woman of Diti. So Kashyapa, he had 2 wives, Diti and Aditi. Right? From Diti came all the demons. And Bali Maharaj was born in the family of the demons. And his grandfather was Prahlad Maharaj. Right? So in this 9th text we hear that, so in the 8th canto, Lord Vamandev, he appears as son of Kashyap and he comes to take away the land that Bali Maharaj had taken away from the demons. So we will hear this later. Text 11. First, the 2 sons named Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha took birth from Diti's womb. Both of them were very powerful and worshipped by the Daityas and Danavas. So Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, they were also demons. They're taking verse from DP. Text 12:13. The wife of Hiranyakashipu was known as Kayadu. She was the daughter of Jamba and the descendant of Danu. She gave birth to 4 consecutive sons known as Samlada, Anulada, Lada, and Pralada. The sister of these 4 sons was known as Simhika. She married the demon named Viprachit and gave birth to another demon named Rahu. Okay, so who was the wife of Hiranyakashipu? Priyadu. Yes. So they had 4 sons. Prahlada. Right? So it's almost everyone ends with Lada. Prahlada, Lada, Anulada, Samlada. Right? And they had a sister named Simhika. It's like we're learning on history class. Okay. Text 14. While Rahu in disguise was drinking nectar among the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead severed his head. The wife of Shamlada was named Kriti. By union with Shamlada, Kriti gave birth to a son named Panchajana. Text 15. The wife of Lada was named Dhamani. She gave birth to 2 sons named Vatapi and Ivala. When Agastya Muni became ill, Ivala's guest, Ilvala served him a feast by cooking Vatapi, who was in the shape of a ram. I don't understand this. There is no purport, so I don't know how to explain it. Text 16. The wife of Anulada was named Surya. She gave birth to 2 sons named Bashkala and Mahisha. Prahlad had 1 son, Virochana, whose wife gave birth to Bali Maharaj. So Prahlad, his son was Virochana, and Virochan's son was Bali Maharaj. Right? So when Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsimhadev, and then Nrsimhadev asks for Prahlad Maharaj, what do you want? And Prahlad, what does Prahlad Maharaj say? What does he say? Yeah, he wants his dad to be liberated. And Hiranyakashipu said, I will not kill, I think, even your all your generation, 14 up and down will be liberated, and I will not kill any of your descendants. That's also something he says. And Dhenukasura is actually also descendant of in this family. That is why Krishna does not kill Dhenukasura in Krishna Lila. Who kills Dhenukasura? Balaram. Alright, so he's like calculating, oh, this Dhenukasura is descendant of my devotee, so I promised I would kill. So Balaram kills Dhenukasura. So Bali Maharaj is famous for having surrendered everything, right? We like it said in the 8th canto, Vamandev comes. Vamandev is very small and very cute. So normally we are attracted to a cute child. So Vamandev comes in that form, and everyone is so happy to see Vamandev because he was so beautiful, so nice, cute little Brahmana. And whatever he asks, everyone was ready to give. So Bali Maharaj, he says, you are Brahmana, what do you want? But then there is Sukracharya beside him. Sukracharya knows this guy is Vishnu. This guy is Vishnu. And he tells Bali Maharaj, you have to be careful, he is going to take everything away from you. And what does Bali Maharaj say? If Vishnu is asking, he can take it. That's the purpose of my life. So Bali Maharaj says, what do you want? And Vamandev, what does he say? 3 steps. I need 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj is like, what? Only 3 steps? I have the whole universe is mine. Why do you want those 3 steps? And Vamandev says, if I can't be happy with 3 steps, I can't be happy with whatever you give me. So something like, if we cannot be happy with a little bit, we cannot be happy with a lot also. So he says, okay, um, I give you 3 steps of land. And then he becomes Trivikram, you know, this big, and he, with 1 step, he conquers the upper world. With 1 steps, he conquers the lower planets. And then he says to Bali Maharaj, where do I put the 3rd step? You said 3 steps. You're not able to fulfill your promise. And then Bali Maharaj surrenders at that point. You can just put the 3rd step on my head. So this is a very nice example of so many things we can learn. This is such a beautiful story because firstly, Bali Maharaj is born in a demon family, Asuric family, but Vamandev is merciful towards him, which is kind of in a way to show that birth is not the most important thing. Devotion is the most important thing. You know, and Srimad Bhagavatam keeps giving us these stories of stories of devotees and stories that contradict traditional way of Vedic life. You have children instructing mothers, you know. You have pure devotees in a demoniac family, you know. So Bhagavatam is always giving these um, something that is against traditional Vedic thing, showing that devotion to Krishna is the highest thing, whatever be the external situation. So Bali Maharaj is also famous for having rejected his guru. You know, so this is also someone in a traditional Vedic culture. He just surrenders to the guru. But Bali Maharaj rejected his guru because he was saying, don't surrender to Vishnu. So these are interesting things we can observe from Bhagavatam. Right, so text 17. Thereafter, Bali Maharaj begot 100 sons in the womb of Ashana. Of these 100 sons, King Bana was the eldest. The activities of Bali Maharaj, which are very laudable, will be described later. Text 18. Since King Bana was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva, he became one of Lord Shiva's most celebrated associates. Even now, Lord Shiva protects King Bana's capital and always stands beside him. Text 19. Now we have a book. The 49 Marut demigods were also born from the womb of Diti. None of them had sons, although they were born of Diti. King Indra gave them a position as demigods. So from Diti also were born 49 Marut demigods. Okay, we have purport from Srila Prabhupada. Apparently, even demons can be elevated to positions as demigods when their atheistic character is reformed. There are 2 kinds of men throughout the universe. Those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are called demigods, and those who are just the opposite are called demons. Even the demons can be transformed into demigods, as the statement of this verse proves. So, there is a saying, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So, we may consider ourselves very sinful or whatever, but by Krishna's mercy, by mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, we can all be elevated. The position of Vaishnava, demigods. So, text 20, King Parikshit inquired, my dear Lord, due to their birth, the 49 Maruts must have been obsessed with a demoniac mentality. Why did Indra, the king of heaven, convert them into demigods? Did they perform any rituals or pious activities? So Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring, they were actually demons. How did they become demigods? Did they perform something? So normally if you want to change your character, you have to go through some austerity, right? You can't just say, okay, from tomorrow I'll become a pure devotee. That doesn't work. You have to work. You have to, like he's saying here, King Parikshit saying, what did they do? So they changed, their character changed from demigod, from demons to demigods. So our, in a way, our aim is also to transform our character, but it does not happen on the mental platform just by saying, of course, we can make effort to build devotional habits, but it's not a mental thing that we can force ourselves. We need to go through the purificatory process of, and in this age, we don't have to go through the rituals and the things mentioned in the Vedas, all the purificatory process. We just have to engage in direct devotional service, and that will purify us. Text 21. My dear Brahmana, I and all sages present with me are eager to know about this. Therefore, O great soul, kindly explain to us the reason. So Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring from Sukadev Goswami that they are eager to know the reason how the 49 Maruts became demigods, although they were demons. Text 22. Read the Sanskrit. Sri Sutta Uvacha. Okay, now Sutta Goswami is speaking. Tad Vishnu Rakasya Sabadarayanya Vacho Nishyam Yadritam Alpam Artavat Sabhajayan San Nibritena Chetasa Jagadas Satrayana Sarvadarshana. Sutta Goswami said, O great sage Saunaka, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit speak respectfully and briefly on topics essential to hear, Sukadev Goswami, who was well aware of everything, praised his endeavor with great pleasure and replied, Purport. Maharaj Parikshit question was very much appreciated by Sukadev Goswami because although it was composed of a small number of words, it contained meaningful inquiries about how the sons of Diti, although born as demons, became demigods. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur stresses that even though Diti was very impious, her heart was purified because of her devotional attitude. Another significant topic is that although Kashyapa Muni was a learned scholar and was advanced in spiritual consciousness, he nonetheless fell a victim to the inducement of his beautiful wife. All these questions were posed in a small number of words, and therefore Sukadev Goswami very much appreciated Maharaj Parikshit's inquiry. Yeah, it's interesting that Srila Prabhupada says all these questions were posed in a small number of words. So somehow Parikshit Maharaj was able to inquire. There is a sloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. Meaning, if someone is a very eloquent speaker, very nice speaker, he can speak the truth very concisely in a very small, compact way. He can give the truth to you. Meaning, a good teacher is able to explain the most complicated things in a very simple way. That is the definition of a good teacher. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Sukadev Goswami appreciated Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry also, because it's very encouraging when the audience is also questioning. For the speaker, if someone is speaking, if there is more reciprocation from the audience, then the speaker is also encouraged to speak more. So it is said the Bhagavatam flows when you have a very nice speaker like Sukadev Goswami and a very nice audience or someone who is willing to hear, like Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj was asking questions, and Sukadev Goswami was also encouraged to answer. So this is a dialogue, and anybody who hears this dialogue is benefited. So two people are speaking, like we have these days podcasts. Two people are speaking, and the audience is watching. It's not being spoken to the audience, but because those two people are speaking, and they're speaking, let's say if they're speaking about spiritual subjects, anyone who hears is benefited. So we have all these nice conversations in our Shastra, and most of our Shastras are conversations, which is very interesting because it's not just one person saying and does not care about what the audience is thinking, does not listen to the audience. It's a two-way communication. One person is asking, the other person is hearing, and then if he or she is not able to understand, they question. So this is a conversation. So I had a professor in the university. He said once, if there is a place where you cannot question, that place is very dangerous. So he would say religious places are dangerous. He was an atheist. So he would say religious places are dangerous places because you are only being taught something, you are not able to question something. But that is not the case in our spiritual tradition. In our spiritual tradition, we are encouraged to question, we are encouraged to ask question and clear our doubts. And if something does not make sense, we respectfully and humbly we can ask to clear our doubts. Sorry, so I will read on some more. Any comments? Anyone would like to add anything so far?
Why Vamanadev got the name Urukrama? What does it mean? Who gave that name?
Urukrama. I'm not sure. At least Trivikram is one. Urukram. I'm not sure. Prabhu, you know? Urukram. Urukram is, but I don't want to speculate. I thought it's something like one who is glorified by the Vedas, but I need to make sure the word meaning of the word Urukram. But I don't know why that name is also given. On whose steps? Urukram. Okay. Nice. Thank you.
One more mention that Daityas are some demigods, 40 demigods to birth from the Diti.
Mm-hmm.
So because of her pure heart and the austerities from Kashyap Prajapati, they took birth from the womb of Diti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada says in this purport that Diti was very envious, but her heart was purified. It's interesting.
Heart was purified by the birth of Vamanadev.
No, just like that. He just mentions that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying this, but I don't know why. He does not elaborate more.
So I have one question. If husband is good, like Krishna conscious, wife is not that much of very enthusiastic, can we expect a child that he will be a good person?
husband is Krishna conscious, wife is not.
Yeah. Can you express that Krishna thinks that oh he is doing something, let's give him input. Or okay.
I don't know, anything can happen. Uh, well, mother has a very big influence on the child. Mother is the first spiritual master. But anything can happen. Depends on the situation. But you have examples of both nice devotees and maybe not nice also. I will read on a little more so we can get to the some nice some longer purports next time. 23. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because of their being killed, their mother Diti, overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, contemplated as follows. So imagine your two sons got killed by Vishnu. So Diti is overwhelmed with anger, lamentation. 24. Lord Indra, who is very much fond of sense gratification, has killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu by means of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Indra is cruel, hard-hearted, and sinful. When will I, having killed him, rest with a pacified mind? Now she is blaming Indra here, which is very interesting. Although Vishnu is the person who killed his sons, she thought it's actually Indra because he was the cause. So everything has cause and the ultimate cause. So Diti thought one cause is Indra because he called. He is the one who called who called for the help of Vishnu. So she was only looking at the immediate cause, but the ultimate cause was Vishnu, as is said here. Has killed the true brothers Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha by means of Lord Vishnu. So she was angry at Indra. Text 25. When dead, the bodies of all the rulers known as kings and great leaders will be transformed into worms, stool, or ashes. If one enviously kills others for the protection of such a body, does he actually know the true interest of life? Certainly he does not, for if one is envious of other entities, he surely goes to hell. Purport. The material body, even if possessed by a great king, is ultimately transformed into stool, worms, or ashes. When one is too attached to the bodily concept of life, is certainly not very intelligent. Text 26. Diti thought, Indra considers his body eternal, and thus he has become unrestrained. I therefore wish to have a son who can remove Indra's madness. Let me adopt some means to help me in this. Purport. One who is in the bodily concept of life is compared in the Shastras to animals like cows and ashes. Diti wanted to punish Indra, who had become like a lower animal. So in text 24, we hear that Indra, who is very fond of sense gratification. So Indra is embarrassed many times in the Bhagavatam. He embarrasses himself many times. So many places he is like doing things that are not that are, if we would do it, it would be very embarrassing for us also. He comes to take Prithu Maharaj's horse because he's envious that he will become the next king, because he was performing so many of these horse sacrifices. And where else? He even comes as a sadhu. The second time, first time he is chased away. Second time he comes as a sadhu, dressed as a sadhu. And that is, Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is very dangerous. You dress as a sadhu to cheat people. And that is where the culture started of sadhus becoming, people accepting the outward dress of a sadhu to cheat people. Indra started that. So I mean, we can learn. So Bhagavatam has so many of these stories for us to learn. It's very relatable. It gives stories of pure devotees, and it also gives stories of demigods like Indra, who who are not who are devotees, not pure devotees, so that we can learn from them what kind of mentality can get us down. So Bhagavatam is full of stories of, we call them precautionary tales. Don't do this. Bhagavatam says, don't do this. You don't want to be embarrassed like Indra, right? So, text 27-28. Thinking in this way with a desire for a son to kill Indra, Diti began constantly acting to satisfy Kashyapa by her pleasing behavior. O king, Diti always carried out Kashyapa's orders very faithfully as he desired, with service, love, humility, and control, with words spoken very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and with smiles and glances at him. Diti attracted his mind and brought it under her control. Forward. When a woman wants to endear herself to her husband and make him very faithful, she must try to please him in all respects. When the husband is pleased with his wife, the wife can receive all necessities, ornaments, and full satisfaction for her senses. Herein this is indicated by the behavior of Diti. So Bhagavatam also talks about all these things. One devotee was sharing. The art of seducement is also there in the Bhagavatam. How do you seduce? I mean, here it's mentioned how to, and sometimes like Rule Prabhu was asking once, why are these things mentioned in the Bhagavatam? Why Bhagavatam is Paramhamsa Samhita, it said. It's a scripture for the topmost level of devotees. But why are these things like these mentioned? That may not seem to be the topmost, right? That may seem, oh, this is just mundane. I mean, in one way, it's being mentioned because it's related to story of a pure devotee, related to story of an incarnation of the Lord. So it's trying to establish a context. It's trying to give a context, and it's trying to give a history to get the readers in a way to see that this is not just fairy tale happening somewhere in the universe. This is an actual history of the universe, and there are contexts. There is backstory to everything. Sometimes we may see someone doing something wrong, and we may just judge the person. Okay, this person did this. It's so nasty. But that person has a backstory. Everything has a backstory. Everything has a context. So when anything happens, there is also context. So all this Bhagavatam also gives all this context. But if this story was not connected to a pure devotee or some tales from lessons there, why would Bhagavatam share this? So I would like to stop here at text. Maybe I'll finish text 29 and tomorrow text 30. So 29. Although Kashyapa Muni was a learned scholar, he was captivated by Diti's artificial behavior, which brought him under her control. Therefore, he assured his wife that he would fulfill her desires. Such a promise by a husband is not at all astonishing. Kashyapa Muni is captivated by Diti's behavior, and next we will hear what happens. So this is all the answer to a question by who was asking the question. Parikshit. Parikshit was asking the question. What was the question?
Why demons, why saintly persons can have birth in one family?
Not exactly. Why the 49 Maruts, who were actually demons, why did Indra give them the position of their gods? Right. So it's all very connected. Like you can make a chart out of it. If you Google Srimad Bhagavatam tree, you can get a chart that is very nice to understand who is the son of who, all these related things. Srimad Bhagavatam family chart. Just Google it. It's very interesting. Okay. Any points? Any questions?
There was very real. I was in another meeting with these one drugs from that into us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he told me? The last wife was a devotee, was done it offense.
Mm.
No, it's as a drug.
Yeah.
Created. What you had mentioned the spiritual place also is dangerous. Very nice places, but could be very dangerous.
Mm.
And we have to take care of such.
Mm. Yeah, especially Vrindavan, you have to be very careful when you go to Vrindavan because, Srila Prabhupada says, anything good you do is also magnified, anything bad you do is also magnified thousands of times. So, especially in a holy place, we should be careful not to offend, otherwise. Those who make offenses in Vrindavan, they get the body of an animal in Vrindavan. Because they were in Vrindavan, so they have this advantage, but they get the body of an animal. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
One more question.
Sorry, please. Yes.
And it's not exactly that it's actually usually when we have bad karma, often what happens is that bad karma makes us perform more bad karma without us having much of a choice to avoid that. So how is that? How is that possible for people without this cycle? Somebody might be having the karma to, the best example I think is like somebody who's getting addicted to substances or something. And then he's already having the karma, then like once he tries to be very addicted, then he wants to stop, but he can't stop because cycle of karma. Then some people like, for example, they start smoking and just want to stop their whole life, but they never stop. So, I mean, it also seems a bit like that it might be unfair or something like he wants to change, but someone he can't change. With all this karma, then he's producing more bad karma because the karma in the body is also bad.
Yeah. Addictions. I think, there is something called 12-step recovery. I don't know if you know this. These are for addictions, to get over these addictions. And I don't have my phone with me, but we could discuss these 12 steps. And one of the one of the steps is a prayer that says, "O God, grant me the strength to accept the things I can." Sorry. I forgot. I forgot the prayer. Serenity prayer. Could you Google? Does anyone have a phone? The serenity prayer. Recovery. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Could you repeat once again? Mhm.
Grant me the serenity to
Mhm.
accept
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and courage
to change the things I can,
courage to change the things I can,
and wisdom to know the difference.
and the wisdom to know the difference. So there are things we cannot change, but there are things we can change. So this is a serenity prayer for if you have some addictions or you have some bad habits that not able to give up. At least we pray that God gives us the courage. What was the courage about again? Courage to change the things we can change. And what was the first part? But to accept the things we cannot change. So we at least there are things we can change, so we try that. And if there are some things we cannot change, we accept. But huh? Yeah, the consequences we have to bear. And bad karma is not also just to punish us, it's to teach us also a lesson. Karma is like a lesson university, you know? It's also to teach us. So it's not necessarily just to punish us, or you did that bad thing and you're getting now the bad result of your bad karma. That's there because the universe is fair, but it's also to teach us. And if from what we did in the past, and if we get some bad karma now, and if we are able to learn from that, get some realization, then that will help us also. That will purify us. Bad karma also karma purifies you basically.
And what are the solution for the test that Hare Krishna is victorious? That Hare Krishna is victorious.
Is chanting Hare Krishna is victorious. That is the best way. Yeah, we can discuss more. The 12 steps are very nice. If we can go and read that 12 recovery, 12 steps. Addiction recovery, 12 steps. It's very similar to how we deal things in Bhakti Yoga. It's very parallel. It's like the surrender. That they do not know who God is, but they act also surrender to God, and make this is such a nice prayer, serenity prayer. It's called. Oh God, grant me the the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We are just praying for. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not necessarily. Mhm. There's so many. I mean, in a sense, we all have one or two addictions. We all are addicted to something. Otherwise, we will not be here in the material world. We're addicted to enjoyment. We're addicted to the material sense gratification. So we can all pray to, we can all follow this 12 steps actually to recover our addiction and go back to God. So Prabhupada ki